This time, I'd like to call to order the regular monthly meeting of the South Union Township Board of Supervisors. If you would, please stand for silent prayer, followed by the pledge of allegiance. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
On the roll call, Mr. Schiffbauer.
Here.
Mr. Vernon.
Here.
Mr. Scott here. Number 5, the Roadmaster's report for the month of September. Mr. Vernon.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Scott. For the month of September, our crew, we whacked guardrails at 4 locations. We milled and amicited the following locations. Curb on Hague Lane, we tied in a driveway on Ruble Drive, walkway at the Arford Park, we had to repair some amicite. We patched Glen Avenue, Hague Lane, Patricia, Gentile Drive, in front of 198 Hague Lane, and we did some patching between 20 and 22 Wiggins Lane. We fixed a curb in front of 20 Wiggins Lane at the driveway. We also patched Farm Road in 2 locations. We've fixed a curb in front of a driveway at 105 Hague Lane. We milled and patched at Christie Drive. We put a curb on 38 Bradbury. We tied in a driveway at 3 locations across Creek Development. We also patched the Holly Lane, Meadow Lane, the Old Furnace Road, Frank Hoover Street, 5 locations on Township Drive, Kimberly and Longsite up in Mr. Scott's area, off of Township Drive, Shannon, and South Lombard. You notice we are now cutting out the patches by milling since Mr. Scott come on board, and we got a couple new machinery, and it's going to hold a lot better. We're going to seal them up before winter. It should hold a lot better than putting patch on top of patch. We haul compost to the compost center behind 84 Lumber at Uniontown area, 10 days or 27 trips. Our guy on the tractor cut township berms, right-of-ways for 10 days, and we worked on the new sheepskin trail. We have 4 men each day for 5 days working on that. I think that considers that everything we have. We trimmed a couple of trees on Farm Road, First Street, Big Brownfield, Leith, and Furnace Road. We replaced the stop sign at the corner of Emerald and Perry. That concludes my report. Do you have anything else you want to add?
Anything, Mr. Schiffbauer?
I have nothing. I think we did replace the inlet 2 over on is that Brownfield, Hutchison Street.
Yeah,
We did that in the month of September.
Thank you, Mr. Vernon. Number 6, code enforcement report. It's also Mr. Vernon. You're just talking away today.
Yes. Okay, for the month of September, our code enforcement report. Again, we have 2 officers working Monday through Friday from 7 to 3:30, and we have 3 officers working on the evenings and also on Saturday and Sundays throughout the township. Our regular officers traveled 1,838 miles, and our part-time officers traveled 1,501 miles for a total of 3,339 miles throughout the township that they patrolled. And they also gave out 3 fire lane site tickets and 4 handicap tickets. Letters sent out for property repairs, we had 14 for the month of September. We had 3 junk vehicles, 2 dog complaints, 5 burning complaints. Now remember, Saturdays only from 8 to 5. It must be a controlled blaze and it must be out by 5 o'clock. High weeds and grass, we had 16 complaints. Our ordinance requires that anything over 10 inches must be cut. So we sent a letter out the first time. After that, we have to write a citation. And we don't want to do that. We made 2 of our houses unsafe. We do them in the occupancy. We had no quad complaints. No one called us, at least. No delinquent garbage accounts. We have 16 citations issued for the month of September by our code enforcement officers. And for a total of letters, we also had 58 letters total going out. And that concludes our report. I'd like to mention one thing. We did have a rash of burglaries over at the Buttermilk Lane area in the month of September. They go in the afternoon hours, so make sure you keep your doors locked. And also we had a rash of cars throughout the township, unlocked vehicles at night. So please lock your vehicles. Only going in if it's unlocked. And all they're looking for is money. And we asked for some extra patrols we were getting from the state police. We want to thank Lieutenant Fisher for that. That concludes my report, Mr. President.
Thank you, Mr. Vernon. You have anything to add, Mr. Schiffbauer?
No.
Thank you. Number 8, comments on agenda items. Does anyone have any comments on the agenda items? Oh, I did. I skipped that. Thanks, Mr. Davis. I need a motion to approve the minutes of the previous meeting.
I'll move. I'll move.
Mr. Vernon, do we have a second?
I'll second Mr. Vernon's motion.
On the motion call, Mr. Vernon,
Yes.
Mr. Schiffbauer,
Yes.
Mr. Scott, yes, motion carries. I'm getting ahead of the game here. Comments on agenda items? No one? Thank you. Number 9 is our sewage department report. In the month of December, we did complete our audit. We signed off on it. I mentioned last week that last month that it was complete, but we did sign the papers that the audit's complete. Everything checked out. In the third quarter, we report EDUs is how we report to the grader. And in the third quarter, they made an adjustment. We got a refund of $127,810. So that helps on our sewage to bring back. I'm not sure how far that went back for the overage. I think they do it every year. And they just carried the funds over and did different projects. But this year there was nothing to do, so they did refund us. So that's about a month of our EDU payment. So that was a nice refund. We back billed 2 different units. We've been out looking. People that we have units that aren't paying, like they might have an apartment building, they're only paying 1 sewage. So we've been doing an audit on that. And over the past, I think, 3 months, we have a total of like 16 or 18 people that haven't been paying their sewage. So we back billed them 3 years, which I think is fair. We could go back 7 years, but we're billing them 3 years. And but that's, that helps us on our, because we're paying for them, but we're not getting paid for, so that helps us. We have the budget in progress right now. I'll have the budget for next, a tentative budget for next year at next month's meeting. We had 123 one calls, 20 service calls, no issues at any of our pump stations. We installed a new wet well fan in Route 21 pump station, and we did 5 tap inspections for the month. I think that completes my sewage report for the month of September. You gentlemen have anything to add?
Yeah, I'd just like, to make it official, the record, we had some of the flooding here about a month and a half, 2 months ago, and we talked about this before, and even prior to the flooding. One of the things when we met about a year or so ago with DEP down in Pittsburgh, that developed in a game plan, supervisors now have the responsibility of taking care of the sewage, old sewage department. But we're still thinking and in the process of putting together a plan where we're going to be doing some of the I&I inspection with some of the areas where we're having flooding. That's been a constant problem that's existed for years since the original installation of the sewage system, and something that's really has never been given the attention that it should have been in the past. And one thing that we more or less pledged to DEP that we're going to put together a more functional plan to identify the areas where we have the infiltration into the sewage line, and I think as time goes on, the potential of any additional flooding caused by the I&I will be eliminated or at least drastically curtailed.
Yeah, we did have, in June, we had a few households flood, and we're actually taking action over in Brownfield right now. We're having K2 draw up a plan that I think is going to remedy that issue. But like Bob said, the I&I is the main issue. We're just more or less putting a Band-Aid on so these people don't get flooded when it rains. But we definitely have I&I. I mean, we definitely have an I&I problem, which all municipalities have. But being that our sewer system is near 50 years old, we have a little bit more than the other municipalities just due to the fact that our system's so old. But we are taking the steps. Like you said, we told DEP we'd have like a 3-year comprehensive plan in place before next year, and we're well on our way to starting. And I hope this time next year we have a, we're already started on it and trying to rectify the problems.
Yeah, the DEP's more or less kind of said to me, well, you've talked about this for years and years.
Right.
But now that we can actually take action as board of supervisors, we are going to put together the plan that we described here.
All right, thank you. Agenda item number 10, discussion of current agreement for mandated recycling with Goodwill. We brought this up last month that our recycling was down drastically. We had a couple meetings with Goodwill. I know Bob met with, they wanted one representative from every municipality to come meet with them, and they asked to be on the agenda today. I'll let Bob cover first what he has, and then I'll touch on a few things that I've learned over the past couple months about the Goodwill program.
Yeah, as people well know, that Goodwill has been part of our recycling program. They've been doing the collection of the recyclables and the processing of the materials. And as I mentioned last month, their cost of operating cost has increased over the years, and the funds provided by the two municipalities, South Union and North Union, through our joint agreement, really we haven't increased. We've increased them some over the years, but not nearly enough to catch up to the ever increasing operating costs. When we did meet with Goodwill, it became quite obvious that it cannot continue to work in a deficit that they do now, and something has to be done with it. There are other measures that we're going to take to try and increase the amount of recyclable materials that are collected. When those materials are collected that way, they can increase their intake of selling these materials once they're processed. But I think that we have to seriously take the step now for some type of infusion of cash from the municipalities or through the municipalities to Goodwill for them to continue to operate. I think the city of Uniontown and North Union, they're involved. They're pretty much on board with what we're thinking about doing as far as establishing some kind of cost that would be incurred, our residents would have to pay. To put this out and have any other entity pick up the recyclables is just not practical. We researched this in depth when we established a program back in the early 90s, and there's no way that we could bring an independent company in and expect them to collect the recyclables at the low cost that Goodwill's been doing it for years. That hasn't changed, and I don't think it will ever change. And that fact alone is enough to make sure that we keep Goodwill from going out of business and not collecting here in our two townships in the city. And also, I mentioned about the 26 disabled individuals that provided jobs to the Goodwill. That all should be considered as well. But we're at a point now where we're going to have to make a decision, the three municipalities, and taking the action to generate some cash into the operating costs or pay for the additional operating costs of Goodwill.
Just a couple things to add. I have the letter here that they wrote to us from Goodwill. And from July 1st, 2015 to June 30th, 2016, they lost $99,041. They're operating as a nonprofit. And since 1997, they've only had one increase of $20,000 annually for their operating costs. And like Mr. Schiffmeyer and myself and Mr. Vernon all looked into the numbers, and it's not administrative fees. I mean, it's not. They had hard numbers for us, and the numbers are just to pick up the recycling. Their equipment it's beyond, it's beyond repair. The equipment that they're using right now is just unbelievable. I mean, some of the trucks are more than 20 years old and have over 200,000 miles on them. So with the increase, if all three bodies agree to the increase, they will be able to put like $47,000 annually into their capital equipment purchase, so they can start purchasing new vehicles, which is a plus. I mean, I went down and toured the site. I thought maybe we could get down and help them with their maintenance on the vehicles, so I took our mechanic down and we looked over a couple of their trucks, and I mean, some of them are just not fit for the road, and you know, they wanted to try to get them fixed to use again, but they're beyond. So I think it's a definite need, and like Bob said, with them being a nonprofit and they're losing money, if you actually had to have somebody come in for profit and do this, we would be, you know, in a bad, our residents would be taking a big hit. So at this time, I believe we'll make up.
Yeah, but one further thing before we take any further action. I just wanted to state that I've talked to Mr. Vasides. He's been involved since the inception of the recycling program when he was commissioner, that the commissioners pledged their continued support and providing technical assistance and even possibly submitting applications for some funding, particularly for the equipment and other things that we're going to be able to do here, and trying to increase and enlighten our residents that they should continue to recycle as they have in the past. So, you know, the county's on board. They know how important it is, and they certainly don't want to lose the services of Goodway any more than we do.
Thank you. You have anything else, Ron?
That's good, man. Covered everything.
Well, at this time, the chair to entertain a motion to pass a resolution. The only way this works, as Bob said, is if North Union, South Union, and the City of Uniontown all agree to collect $1 per household. So, do you want to make the motion, Bob?
Yeah, but I just want to quick, can we make that contingent on the adoption of the same or like motion to participate in contributing funding for the operating cost of Goodwill?
Yes, and we could do it in a way that our price increase, which will not take effect, will be contingent upon, will not take effect until the City of Uniontown and North Union Township pass a similar price increase. Is that okay?
Yeah, I know. I talked, Mr. Tooth from North Union, the supervisor, I talked to him this afternoon, and they want to know what we're going to do, and I told him we would get a legal opinion from you.
Yes, you can do it.
And adopt this in the manner that you either suggest or describe, that we're allowed to do it this way.
Yeah, and what we're doing is we're doing the strict, and that the increase is specifically for the recycling program.
You want to make the motion?
Okay,
You
well,
want to word it properly?
Sure.
So
I can do that. Is that what you'd like me to do, Mr. Shipper?
Well-
Is it going to be $1
per household.
per
all right,
quarter,
we
or
have
is
the
that what it is
do
going
we
to
have
be?
the resolution here?
No.
Okay.
This is
Is it going to be $1 per household per quarter, or $1 per household per month?
Per month.
Are we talking about commercial to any building?
Yes.
$1 per,
Per household.
well, we wouldn't limit it to household, I don't think, because
No.
what if it's a business?
Yeah.
Are we going to, they
Customer.
recycle?
Customer.
Yeah, $1 per recycle, $1 per customer. I mean, the same people I'm sure we're referring to are the same people that have their garbage collection.
Garbage collection, yes.
So $1 per customer, being the same customers that have garbage collection in South Union Township per month.
Right.
Contingent upon North Union and North Union and the City of Uniontown passing a similar motion. And it would take effect immediately upon their passing their motions. Is that good?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll make that motion.
All right.
Do I have a second?
I'll second Mr. Scott's motion.
A motion and a proper second. On a roll call, Mr. Scott, yes. Mr. Vernon?
Yes.
Mr. Shippower?
Yes.
Motion carries.
One thing I want to stipulate and make clear to the public, in communicating with Advanced Disposal, they've agreed to actually issue, as in their, they do quarterly billing.
Yeah.
But this charge will be incorporated into their billing, and we want to make this perfectly clear. This is not an increase that is being generated or lies on the shoulders of Advanced Disposal. That it's not an increase for the collection of garbage. They've just agreed to assist us in avoiding any additional costs by generating our own billing for this. They do it with other government bodies. They share these services. So I just want to make it clear that when they receive their billing, and there should be some type of explanation within that billing what the additional charge is for. it's going to spell out specifically is simply for the helping with the goodwill and the operating of the recycling program.
Thank you. Anything, Mr. Vernon?
No, nothing else.
Number 11, discuss complaints of discolored water from the North Fayette County Municipal Authority water lines on Hague Lane. Mr. Schiffbauer?
Yeah, I received a call this morning from an individual who's on Hague Lane, and they've been experiencing discoloration in their water over the last 2, 3, 4 weeks, and they've made repeated calls to North Fayette Water Municipal Authority and trying to get an explanation why their water is discolored. We know that they've been doing work up in that general area on installing new lines and doing the taps for the water service. And that certainly is in all likelihood causing the problems or discoloration with the water. The individual that I spoke with is concerned that they've been told several different stories, that the water is safe to drink, and at other times of talking to some other individuals there at the authority said that they would not suggest you to drink the water as long as it continues to be discolored. So what I would do, and I know we'll be contacting and talking with the authority, but if you are experiencing this discoloration, I would suggest that you contact the water authority to first let them know that you have problems with the discoloration in your water and have them explain maybe in detail and give you some assurances whether you can or cannot or should not drink the water.
Anything else?
Yeah, I think we had 5 breaks up in the area, 2 down by Circle K on Dixon and 3 on Wiggins Lane the last 10 days. That's something to do, because my house one morning it was just discolored, and now it's clear now, but that could be part of the reason problem. It's off of Hague Lane. That could be part of the problem. But I think they should give it a better answer than that.
Yeah.
Right. They did. They had a lot of problems in the past 2 weeks. They've had multiple breaks in that area. So.
Yeah, plus you're putting a new water line in off of Dixon Boulevard also on Jeffrey Street.
We certainly don't want to end up like Flint, Michigan or something.
No, right. It's definitely something to be concerned about. Thank you. Number 12, cooperation agreement between South Union Township and the Fayette County Redevelopment Authority for the 2013, 14, and 15 CDBG money. Mr. Vernon?
Okay, just a quick, just give you a background. Every year we get grant money from what's called Community Development Block Grant Funds. We receive it every year, and we got the 13, 14, and 15 approved, and we used the money, but then Harrisburg handles it for the federal government. Sent it back, kicked us back, saying we wasn't following their guidelines. So we've asked the redevelopment of Fayette County to help us intercede, and they handle most of the townships throughout the county. So we have an agreement with them. They're going to help us with the 13 and 14 and 15 to modify our grant to get us back in what I guess the paperwork they want in Harrisburg. So we didn't lose anything. We just have to apply for 13, 14, and 15, and they're going to also help us on the 16. But this agreement is only for 13, 14, and 15. And the agreement actually says, whereas the township desires to engage redevelopment authority at Fayette County to render certain necessary technical advice and assistance and to undertake the administration of the township's CDBG programs. And also, the authority agrees to carry out the 2013, 14, and 15 programs on behalf of the township in accordance with the terms and conditions of the grant agreement with the township and the Commonwealth. That would be my motion to hire the redevelopment authority of Fayette County. Andrew French is the executive director of that.
We have a motion. Mr. Davis would like to say something, please.
If I might, Mr. Vernon, could you add to your motion and to enter into the agreement and to authorize the supervisors, chairman, vice chairman, and secretary to sign the agreement on behalf of the township?
Sure, we'll amend that to read that.
Okay. Yeah, I think it's fine then. Okay, Mr. Scott.
Thank you. We have a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second the motion.
Motion and proper second on the roll call. Mr. Vernon?
Yes.
Mr. Schiffbauer?
Yes.
Mr. Scott, yes. Motion carries. Number 13 is a motion to schedule trick-or-treat night on October 31st. I did put this on Facebook. I always like putting this on Facebook because it gets more hits than anything else that I ever put on Facebook for the township. My average hit on a comment for like a storm or something like that's 500 to 600, and I just looked and there's 6,084 comments on or hits on the Facebook for the trick-or-treat night. But as we always say, try to stay in your own neighborhoods. I know we have a lot of people that call and complain to the township that their neighborhood's overwhelmed with, carloads of kids getting out. And I don't think it's actually the kids they're concerned about. I think it's more or less the people driving around their neighborhoods while their kids are out trick-or-treating. So just try to be safe. Like I said, it's October 31st from 6 to 7:30. If anyone has any questions, they can call down here to the township or post on the Facebook.
Also, you have to, you want to be involved in the trick-or-treat, and turn on your porch lights if you would. And the code officers, we'll have 3 code officers, and the 3 of us will be out patrolling also during that time.
Have anything to add, Mr. Schiffbauer?
No, I don't.
I know you're a big trick-or-treater.
Not like you used to be.
Thank you. Number 14.
You want a motion? You just want to just announce that's all you need a motion.
Isn't that the same time we do it every year?
We do different dates.
Well, let's go ahead and do a motion.
Yeah, motion
to
on the
authorize it.
Okay, I'll make the motion to schedule trick-or-treat night on October 31st from 6 to 7:30.
I'll second Mr. Scott's motion.
Motion and proper second on the roll call. Mr. Scott, yes. Mr. Vernon?
Yes.
Mr. Schiffbauer?
Yes.
Motion carries. Number 14, motion to grant David Rona exemption of all real estate property tax on the property located at 1253 Farm Road. We do a few of these a year. Mr. Rona is a disabled veteran. The application that he sends goes to the Pennsylvania State Veterans Commission, and they have to look at every case to determine if he's eligible, and he does meet the criteria, and we've done this for a few other residents. Like I said, the property is at 1253 Farm Road, which is his residence. At this time, I'd like to make a motion that we grant David L. Rona exemption from real estate tax, property tax on the property located at 1253 Farm Road.
And for the year 2006, 2016?
I think it's for 5 years. It's reevaluated every 5 years.
You can,
So-
if you have a 5-year authorization, you can go 5 or you can do it annually.
I think we did the other ones on a 5-year
We did
basis.
annual? I thought we did annual.
You know what, I honestly
Maybe
can't
we-
remember.
We might just did it.
But I believe it says
It
here,
reads 5 years.
he gets cases at least once every 5 years for determination.
Right, he has to be reevaluated.
It's up to the board, but you can do 5 years, you can do one and just revisit it.
I believe the last one we did a
5.
5 years.
Was it? Okay.
Starting 2016.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have to, be for
That'd be our South
2016,
Union taxes.
continuing for a period of 5 years. Is that what you want to do?
Our taxes only 2000.
Yeah, well, you can only do yours.
Right.
anyway.
Okay, I'll add that to my motion. That's for 5 years. We have a second?
I'll second the motion.
Motion and proper second on the roll call. Mr. Scott, yes. Mr. Vernon?
Yes.
Mr. Schiffbauer?
Yes.
Number 15, comments from the public. Any comments from the public? Can you come up to the podium?
Actually, I could have commented on the agenda item. I didn't realize that I was timely here for
That's
the
all right.
recycling issue. The only comment I had for the past couple months, I've been noticing, at least in Craig Meadows where I live, that there is a pretty small participation rate for recycling. And frankly, I've gone around with a little bit of a count, and even this morning, because it's timely, it was the collection day of Craig Meadows Day, it was 45 out of 113 that actually put out recycling, which works out to about 40%. And frankly, that figure's been pretty consistent for the last, I won't say that I've counted every one, every week, every month, but I think that's part of the problem as well, is that Goodwill is not getting as much bang for the buck as they could get, and I see that you're increasing that, which I have no problem with, and I think that's good for Goodwill. But I think from the other end of it, they obviously are not getting some of the revenue because they're not getting some of the collections that they could, and I know it's mandatory. I see the garbage out, for the most part, is collected every week, and most of the people do put out their garbage. But I haven't looked in other communities other than Craig Meadows around South Union, but I dare say it's probably consistent with that figure. So I don't know how you do more of a compulsion. It's obviously mandatory now.
See, I don't think it was just not mandatory. It's mandatory for us to
Okay.
have it.
It's the participation.
I guess
is-
it's mandatory from the
Township.
township standpoint.
And
And
we-
we have to supply a contractor to do that.
Right,
Okay.
but it's not mandatory participation, I don't believe.
It's
in
not
our-
enforceable.
Yeah.
let's say. We're not-
And I don't think we're large enough, I think, and I think the other thing, as I recall, and I haven't looked at it, to be honest, but I think it's, we have, we request everyone to participate. And I believe we provided them with containers, didn't we?
We did. And that's the thing, we still provide at least 1 or 2 containers a day, it seems like, and you start to wonder what are they doing with all these containers they're taking?
I think sometimes they become garbage.
Yeah,
as
yeah,
well.
yeah.
I was just in Harrisburg, in suburban Harrisburg, about a month ago, and a friend of mine was putting out his recycling on a Sunday night, and I said, okay, it's the monthly recycling. He said, no, we do it once a week. So that's suburban Harrisburg, York County, I think it was, the township was in. So I'm not sure, I mean, I would hope that maybe some of these houses, that they're maybe going to recycling sites and doing that on their own, but I would dare say that they probably are not doing that, and I don't know how most of the houses in the community, I mean, they have to be having those kind of recyclables. I mean, I put out about 3 to 4 barrelfuls a month, and it gets pretty full by the end of that month, so I'm happy when it's recycling day again. So I'm not quite sure I understand completely why that's not being done, but I certainly think that whatever the township can do to encourage recyclables, I think that would help Goodwill as well in their revenue stream.
What we'll be doing, this is almost like starting over again, I guess you could call it more a refresher course. When we instituted the recycling program, we conducted a series of, and used a number of education tools for the public. We did TV, radio announcements, advertisements. We used the newspaper quite extensively in passing, where we even did a 4-page insert to announce and educate our residents of the recycling program and what they're supposed to recycle and how they clean out the cans and the materials were to be handled to be picked up. So we're evidently, and we're going to have to start back over again. There's money that will be available from the state at a 10% match. So we only have to come up with 10%. Matter of fact, the county, when talking to Mr. Facides, had indicated that the county would help out in applying for some of that money for the public education. So what we will be doing is certainly utilizing that aspect, re-educating our public, because at the beginning of the program, we did a rough estimate and observation of the degree or percentage degree of people participating. And it goes back pretty far, but if I remember correctly, it was pretty much in the area around 75%. And that's one of the reasons why now, like you said, your observation pointed up like a 40% participation. And that's almost a 50% decrease. So if you have 50% people participating, your materials that you're going to be collecting are certainly going to be down equally as well.
Right.
And that's how they generate a lot of their income. And we're providing statistics from Goodwill in our meetings, and I tell you, it was very disappointing to see the substantial decrease in South Union Township residents participating. So we certainly have to do something about it. That's the way. That's what we're going to do. We're going to conduct this re-education, and we'll be utilizing our cable TV channel to have meetings and continue to pass the word and enlighten people of the importance it is to recycle and how it comes down to benefiting and being able to run the program and paying for the program. So that will be done here in the future. We're starting to make plans now and how we're going to format the re-education materials, but I'm sure we'll certainly get a positive result once we start utilizing that tool.
And I would think if advanced disposal is going to be putting another dollar in, or a couple dollars a month, that's probably going to get some people's attention as well. And maybe they could, in fact, aid in that as well, to say that, we're doing this to increase goodwill, but it would be better in conjunction with the increase that everybody participate in the program. That's going to help goodwill, certainly going to help landfills to lessen the stress on landfill and to provide recyclable, help the economy, help the ecology as well. So, I mean, I think it's a win-win kind of thing. I don't see any downside. That's why it surprises me that only 40%, of the community, at least my small community, is participating. And I'm not quite sure I understand why they're not. It doesn't seem like it's that much more difficult to, put in those recyclables. But
Well, it's the priority you set as a family, as an individual. I really think, and I suggested this when we first started with the school district, the school did participate to some degree in offering some classes or providing information through the school and with the children. That's the place to really start. If you're going to build up a recycling program to be successful, it's going to last for years and years and years. That's where you start with the children at a very young age to educate them to the importance of recycling. And I think that's something maybe we can look at. And I'm sure that there's been programs over the years that's been already put together in other areas that we might be able to work with the school district and institute that as part of their curriculum with the recycling program.
that's my 2 cents. Thank you.
Thank you.
Just real quick also, I heard about the bicycling trail. Where are we with that at this point?
We're about that close with the green light from DCED, and to getting our also we need a permit from DEP, and all the major hurdles have been really cleared. Now, we were thinking initially that we would not be able to get started the project until either November, December, but things have gone out, things have moved along quite well. We're satisfied DEP has taken a little softer approach in their requirement to looking at doing a different type of a permit opposed to a larger general permit, which would have really slowed it down. And we're working with Heather Konupski here from the local soil conservation office. She's aware of it. She has the application. She's reviewing it right now. And for all intents and purposes, I think she's going to do her job, but she would like to see the trail. I mean, she's expressed it to her engineer how nice it would be here to do in the township. And hopefully in the next few weeks we're going to start work on it.
If you need any volunteers or any work on it, let me know. It should be helping. I ride around from Craig Meadows around town. I don't always go up to the trails. And, sometimes I fight with traffic and things, so it'd be nice to be able to ride the trail.
I think at some point, like Rick mentioned, I've thought about this too, in maintaining the trail once we build it, having a committee. Now, that's what they do at the Great Allegheny Passage. It's a 4-county area, and then they break it down in segments of local communities with that specific area. They have a volunteer group. And, sure, I mean, the township, we'd certainly have a hand in maintaining the trail, but I think people like you that are, serious about this, and we've had others express a like approach to it, where we could form a committee or a commission where you could meet and help monitor the trail and help care for it.
I'll be happy to get Mr. Davis on the bike, too.
Okay.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Thank you. Anybody else?
Yeah, I have.
Warren.
I'm Bernie Quirk. Just along the lines of the discussion on recycling, I was curious if Goodwill were to drop out of the recycling business, does that put us in violation as a township?
The
by not
only
having
way
a
we'd be in
recycling-
violation if we eliminated and stopped our program. We'd still be required under Act 101 to maintain a recycling program, an active recycling program. So we'd have to go out and in all likelihood, put it out for bid, possibly advance, say, in theory, would get the contract, and along with the garbage, they'd collect the recyclables, which would certainly necessitate a substantial increase in your monthly garbage bill, or it would be garbage recycling bill then.
That's what I suspected.
It'd be a lot more than a dollar a
Yes,
month.
yeah, that sounds pretty cheap.
And I think that's one of the reasons why people have taken it for granted over the years. You know, it's been at no cost to them financially, and I think now that they're going to own a little piece of the operation with Goodwill, and hopefully that'll encourage them to recycle more.
Gentleman who spoke just before me, it's interesting.
Mr. Hennig.
Mr. Hennig.
Jack Hennig.
Hi, John. It was interesting way to gauge the participation by counting the number of houses with containers out. I know, Tara didn't bring it up where I used to live, but I lived in suburban Baltimore. Our county had a program called 50-50. It tried to encourage everybody to recycle at least half of their trash. I suspect they probably would sample bags and throw away and say, okay, well, 30% of this could have been recycled. And they have active program. You get something in the mail every 3 months or so reminding you to recycle as much as you can. And they recycled, they picked it up every week, like you mentioned Harrisburg.
Well, there are certain things that we are required to be in our programs, certain types of recyclables that are required to be a part of our program. Like your bottles, cans. There's a few things like the newspapers were not required, but we were lucky enough to Goodwill, they found a source that would take the newspapers.
Okay.
And it just depends on the state regulation of what we're required, and then if we have the capabilities and the ability to include different things, like provide additional days. Maybe if Goodwill, there is a possibility if Goodwill is on good financial standing now, footing, with this charge, they may be able to provide some extra days where they can go out and collect. Maybe not every week, maybe certain areas, do it every other week. That's something we get to sit down and talk to them about. But there's people generating, a large amount of recyclables. We'd certainly like to be able to set up an arrangement where that could be collected as well. Because if you know yourself, if you run out of space for recyclables, you know where the recyclables are going to go. They're going to go to the trash, the weekly trash pickup. And that's not a good thing.
No. One thing that made it a little easier, I know I was squinting to see the recycle number on each little plastic bottle and so on. Again, back to my old previous county, it was, I guess they call it single stream recycling. You threw everything in. It didn't matter what number of plastic it was, catalogs, newspapers, junk mail, all the paper just went in there. They didn't care, just throw it all in. I don't know, they probably sorted it somehow. I'm not saying Goodwill should do this because it's probably quite expensive to do that, but I think they had possibly prisoners that would sort stuff at the landfill and put it in the proper stream to get money.
What we recycle has a lot to do with the capabilities of Goodwill. Take it.
I just had just two other quick things. What's the estimated completion date for the Route 21 project around Lowe's and Gabriel's and all that? Is it going to be done by the end of the year? Or?
The last that I heard, that they gave us a completion date of December 2016, tentatively, but I did talk to Greg the other day, and he said that they should be 90% complete by December. And PennDOT shuts them down, like for paving and everything. I think it used to be November 16th, but I think now it's December 1st. They shut them down.
Okay.
You're not allowed to pave anymore after December 1st. Because of the weather.
Okay.
And then you're not allowed to start. I believe the dates, don't quote me the dates, but I believe it's March 1st. So he said that they should have everything paved and all the lanes open before December, but as far as like restoration and stuff like that, it might not take place till next spring.
Yeah, I think PennDOT actually put a letter out to us July 1st.
It's like July
Definitely.
1st, they'll be completely out of here,
Okay.
but, July 1st.
Yeah. One final thing, there was a large two-story home in Brownfield that burned several weeks ago. Is there any active way to after that gets demolished? Is it, I just wonder how long it's going to stay there gutted the way it is right now?
I haven't heard anything yet. We do require the insurance company to give us a 10% check to hold until the house is cleaned up.
Okay.
So I believe it's in the process now of, getting that all done.
Maybe we were told they're going to try to rebuild.
Yeah, that's what we were told.
Well, our code has a mechanism to deal with something like that.
Okay.
You know, it's not going to sit there for years. We have the authority and power to take whatever action is necessary to have that place restored or demolished and taken care of.
I come in South Union, there's your old ball, stuff like that. I see places in downtown Union down that like they should have been condemned and paved over or something. I don't know why stuff stays like that so long. Anyway, thank you, gentlemen.
Yeah,
Thank
thank
you,
you,
Bernie.
Bernie. Anyone else? Moving on, number 16, the financial statement.
Mr. Chairman, the financial statement for the month of September, general fund checking account, $366,875. The general fund investment account, $55,109.57. Our state fund, $233,026.70. Our hydrant fund, $8,040.84. Our athletic fund, $7,295.79. And our payroll fund, $7,941.77. In the North Union South Intergovernmental Board Fund, $16,357.10 for a total of $694,646.77 for our total road department. In our sewage department, we have $2,201,004.17. That's our financial statement for the month of September.
Thank you, Mr. Vernon. Any corrections, Mr. Schiffbauer? Number 17, Chair will entertain a motion to pay all the current bills. Mr. Schiffbauer.
I'll make a motion to pay the current bills as follows. North Union, South Union, Intergovernmental Board, $5,350. State Fund, $15,434.80. Federal Hydrant Fund, $3,538.26. Athletic Fund, $1,145. From the Sewage Fund, $291,762.96. And from the General Fund, $304,624.53. That's my motion.
And I'll second Mr. Schiffbauer's
We
motion.
have a motion and a proper second on the roll call. Mr. Schiffbauer?
Yes.
Mr. Vernon?
Yes.
Mr. Scott, yes. Motion carries. Number 18, Mr. Solicitor, do you have anything to add?
I have nothing to add.
Thank you very much. Number 19, Chair will entertain a motion to adjourn at 4:51.
I'll move to adjourn at 4:51.
Motion, I'll second Mr. Vernon's motion. We have a motion and proper second on the roll call. Mr. Vernon?
Yes.
Mr. Scott, yes. Mr. Schiffbauer?
Yes.
Motion carries. Voting is adjourned. Thank you.
Okay, what's that? These two ones.